Hi, I'm Jason Conta. I'm Associate Editor at Canadian Underwriter and host of our podcast series, What's on Deck. I sat down with Bart Robinson from Western Financial Group to discuss Alberta auto insurance. I talked to Bart about three things: how brokers are facing increased underwriting restrictions, why some good drivers are upset about the rate cap, and why more insurers could leave the province. Today we're going to be discussing Alberta auto. We're going to get into things like the rate cap, no-fault scheme, even thoughts on whether public auto is an option in the province. And just to set the stage a little here, I'll give you a quick summary of some of the changes that are going on in the industry. As of the beginning of this year, January 1st, insurers can increase auto rates 5%, and that's up from 3.7% previously. And on top of that, there's also an additional 2.5% that they can increase due to Nat Cat related losses and costs. So that in total, I guess you can increase up to 7.5%. Now, when it comes to no fault, the government plans to introduce a no fault model in 2027, and there's going to be exceptions as well. One of them will be for catastrophically injured victims who will be allowed to sue, as well as drivers who have been the victim of an at-fault driver who committed a criminal offense. They can sue as well. So that's just a very brief high-level overview of some of the changes going on with Alberta Auto. And to discuss it with me today, I have Bart Robinson, who's the Vice President of National Insurance Operations at Western Financial Group. So Bart, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for the invitation, Jason. I'm excited to have this opportunity.
Yeah, me as well. So I guess first question, the most obvious one that I can think of is sort of as a broker, how are you finding the changes are affecting your clients?
Jason, I would say Alberta auto insurance is both confusing and frustrating. I can give you a couple of examples of that. First one would be the unexpected rate increases for those classified as a good driver. There's a number of good drivers in Alberta who are upset with the rate increases that exceed the rate cap. Especially those who have maintained a clean driving record. A few situations that might cause unexpected rate increases and the loss of the rate cap could include, a vehicle being added or substituted during the policy term, adding a new driver with a worse driving record or higher overall risk rating, or even change of an insurance company. The other example would be challenge some people are facing trying to get physical damage coverage. In addition to a few insurers exiting the Alberta market due to the rate cap, brokers are now confronted with the increased underwriting restrictions. This is making it difficult for some drivers to obtain physical damage coverage. A couple rules that I've seen for declining physical damage coverage include 2 or more minor convictions within the last 3 years, or 1 or more major convictions within the same period. So the pressure from the rate cap is prompting insurers to implement these changes to mitigate their exposure.
So when it comes to the rate cap, are you seeing more loyalty now to insurance companies because, clients aren't shopping around as much?
For what I know, the rate cap on auto insurance premiums has affected drivers in really 2 different ways. The first one is those drivers classified as a good driver and able to obtain physical damage coverage. The cap has reduced the incentive to shop around as potential savings are minimal. And the factors that could lead to premium increases greater than the 7.5% rate cap relates to changing insurance companies. But then the opposite also holds true is those not classified as a good driver and or not able to obtain physical damage coverage. These drivers, their situation is different. That leads to shopping around for better rates. And although the Alberta Automobile Insurance Rate Board has capped rate hikes at 10% within a 12-month period, insurers can distribute those increases differently. And consequently, drivers not seen as a good driver may face premium hikes exceeding 10%. That's prompting them to seek more affordable options. And then drivers who are unable to secure physical damage coverage, they're frustrated and they may also seek alternative solutions and shop around.
It's confusing for clients and that. I was going to wonder if we could sort of get into why, or what you can do to help clients that are confused about the rate cap, or they may not be a good driver. Like how do you deal with that, right?
Yeah, so I think it's good for Alberta drivers. It was time for an update, and the new Care First model is a made in Alberta solution for Albertans. I feel that the government's care model for auto insurance is the best option for providing the best care and support to individuals involved in collisions while offering opportunity for commute savings.
What do you find is the current impact of the cap? How's it working out for consumers?
I feel the impact of the government imposed rate cap combined with the escalating repair and legal costs is creating a crisis. And the risk is that more insurers could leave the province. And this will obviously make it harder to find affordable auto insurance, although I think most drivers can still access auto insurance. But the longer the rate cap stays in place, the harder it will be for some insurers to justify offering auto insurance. Ultimately, less competition or choice is worse for Alberta drivers.
Is public auto an option?
Sure. I feel that the community-based expertise of brokers combined with the infrastructure and technology investments of our insurance providers would be hard to replicate without tremendous startup costs and operating costs. So that would be borne by the Alberta government and the province's drivers.
And so another question I had is, I know obviously brokers and broker associations, stuff like that, will work with the government at different levels, right? So is there certain things that you find brokers are talking to the government about now when it comes to Alberta Auto?
Those that I've spoken to are actively engaging with government and industry stakeholders on several key issues related to auto insurance. A few that come to mind is auto insurance reform. Discussing the upcoming transition to the Care First model to take place in 2027, ensuring that there's a system balance between cost savings with adequate compensation and care for accident victims. There's rate cap adjustments, proposing modifications to the current rate cap on auto insurance premiums, addressing concerns about the financial strain on insurers and the reduced market competition. And then there's consumer education. Enhancing consumer education on auto insurance to boost transparency and to help consumers understand their insurance options and face factors that are influencing their premiums.
So what are some of the trends that you're seeing in Alberta Auto?
There's a number of key trends that are shaping the auto landscape in Alberta. Three that come to mind is telematics. There are an increasing number of drivers choosing telematics, which leverages their data from driving behavior to determine premiums, which is motivated by potential cost savings and more individualized insurance rates. We're seeing an increased support for credit consent. Many Albertans, appreciate the potential for lower premiums when credit scores are factored into their insurance pricing. This is particularly beneficial for those with good credit. And the last one I would say is claims cost and loss ratios. It was reported that the 2024 market trend report of the Alberta Auto Insurance Rate Board stated that the industry loss ratio for private passenger vehicles in Alberta was 68%. And although this is manageable, it continues to pose challenges for insurances in balancing the premiums and claims costs. So claims loss ratios have been on a gradual rise as the market adapts to post-pandemic conditions.
That wraps up today's episode on Alberta Auto Insurance. We hope you found the discussion insightful. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on What's on Deck.